Ciao raga, welcome back to Sun Tzu Secrets. Today I want to talk about the Warhammer Old World community. I think this is an interesting topic, and I've been thinking quite a bit about it, especially coming back from Adepticon, which I had the pleasure to attend last week. And I participated into the Warhammer the Old World GT championships. But most important than the tournament itself was the feeling, the overwhelming feeling that I had throughout the event. So, for those who don't know, Adepticon is one of the biggest conventions in the United States and one of the biggest in the world. Which gathers thousands and thousands of hobbyists and passionate wargamers across the entire country, and the energy I felt when I was there was just beyond. Of course, Games Workshop was there. All the main vendors were there, like miniatures producers, gamers, hobbyists, painters, tons of classes. Basically, any kind of war game actually present was represented either through booths or events or tournaments themselves, and that made me think, because I think with Warhammer the Old World we're witnessing a phenomenon that is on the rise, which is basically the fact that this great game that was basically absent for nearly 10 years after the end times got resurrected basically from GW about 2 years ago. And in that time frame, the acceptance from the public has been basically amazing and overwhelming at times, with lots of boxes, miniatures, battalion boxes going immediately out of stock, and hundreds of new players and hobbyists coming back to the game on a square basis that we couldn't use, at least in Games Workshop official games, for about a decade. With that in mind, this game is really proving to be more than what probably the company itself thought it was at the beginning. So it was meant to be just a what they call SDS, which is like a specialist basically development studio, which are like the second tier games, which basically the Old World practically is, because it's developed by that kind of studio. But looks like there are rumors floating around the internet and just in general that the game is selling extremely well. Even Games Workshop, in their financial reports, they are stating that the scope of the game has changed. The game is selling much more than they thought. And there are more projects and bigger things coming along the way. And with that, I think one thing we need to start thinking about is the community, because at the end of the day, a game is only good enough as the community that is playing it, and how we as passionate hobbyists are able to I would say aggregate and create congregations of people that are sharing the same passion, the same hobby, and the same interest. Whether it's competitive tournaments, whether it's painting, whether it's just gaming for the sake of it, whether it's just hanging with friends, passionate about the lores, books, even Warhammer fantasy role-play game, which basically got resurrected as well with the return of the Old World, and so far and so forth. All of these things are what really makes the difference and the success of the game and the community in the long term. With that, I just wanted to share, because I did an episode on the podcast with my friend Alberto, but that was in Italian, so I just wanted to give you a little bit of pictures of my experience there. So as I said, the community is everything. So here is like the team of people that I hang out with, basically most of the times on Discord, which is back to the community thing, one of the most popular ways of aggregate, especially in a country that is so big and so spread out like the US, judges, players, friends, everybody all together, taking pictures and having fun, and of course throwing dice. So these are like some pictures from my games at the event. This is the last game I played, but not only, because Adepticon had been probably one of the most intense experiences from a hobby perspective that I have ever had in my life. I've attended different conventions like Nova, LVO, which are all awesome, but Adepticon, I felt it was just a little bit more than that. So of course these are some pictures of the Golden Demons pieces. You will see where you see that pen on the right hand side. That means there are like finalist pieces that actually got made it to the final, and this is, by the way, one of the winners. So just admire the paint job, is just amazing. But we're talking about the Golden Demon, which is the highest level of painting and one of the most important painting contests in the world for miniatures. But this is to say that, I mean, this hobby is not just painting, it's not just the lore, it's not just like doing the tournaments or just playing friendly games. It's the sum of all of these things together, which in other words basically means it's the community. And again, it's not easy to keep a community together or to resurrect a community after 10 years of basically silence. And again, I'm stopping here on Meowing, the Storm Dragon, which is one of the newest kit that Games Workshop released for Grand Cathay, the new army that was published, which, by the way, is getting both positive reviews in terms of like beauty of the models and also a lot of critics in regards to the balance that is bringing or removing from the game, with rules that were, especially at the beginning, kind of powerful. And I can say that being a Cathay player, by the way, by list that won the Adepticon GT also got some heat around, because I mean, even though it was very toned down compared to what it can be, was really seen as a very highly competitive and possibly not super fun list to play against. So there are these two things, but once again, it's not easy to resurrect a community that has been shut down for like 10 years, especially when a new game like Age of Sigmar, this piece is amazing. This is the Bretonnian Lord that actually won. It's just crazy, like the job, even like the water splashing against the rock. It's just like, it's insane. It's so good. It's not easy to resurrect the community, especially when you released another game, which is Age of Sigmar, that basically took the place that once was the old world, that is selling very well. It's doing great. We are hearing that there are a lot of changes coming along the way. We don't know how many of them are actually true, how many of them are just like rumors or leaks or possibly wish listing, but we don't know. But so what is the key? What is the secret to actually bring our game to the level we all are hoping for? And I've been spending quite a bit of time chatting with different tournament organizers, from Andrew and Gary that organized the Old World Adepticon event, to Andy Garcia, my dear friend from Monster Slayer Production, who partners with Frontline Gaming in organizing. The most important one is like LVO, so Las Vegas Open, but they also organize the Bay Area Open. So they organize tens of events, which are also very successful, with a lot of people coming. So I spoke with many different tournament organizers, and everyone is actually telling me what we need is to rebuild that sense of community at a local level, at a state level, at a country level, at a national level. So what is this looking like? What needs to be done in order to, keep growing this game? Because again, when we compare the numbers that we seen in terms of attendance to old world events from 2024, and then we look at what the numbers are in this year, 2026, we see that the old world is on the rise. It's unquestionable. I think Adepticon in 2024 had a small event for the old world, which was probably in the 30-40 people, and then it improved and went around 50 to 60 people in 2025. They sold more than 85 tickets for the event this year, so we were close to 90, which, by the way, made it the biggest event, single event in the US for the old world since it got released in January 2024. But it increased. It increased by about 40% again. And similar numbers are the ones that my friend Eric from Squarehammer Blue, who's organizing Nova Open, is seeing, across the board since 2024 throughout 2025. And we'll see how many people we will get in Nova this year, in DC again. LVO, the first LVO was like more than 70 people coming. So we're really talking about big numbers here. We're not talking about 15, 20, 25 people, 30 people coming. We are talking numbers that can be comparable to the early numbers that Age of Sigmar was doing when it got released at the beginning. And remember, Age of Sigmar is the second largest and most successful game for Games Workshop after Warhammer 40k, which means a lot. Why is that so? Why the old world looks like it's so successful? The answer is this game is really the backbone of what Games Workshop built in the late 80s, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, because it used to be the core focus game. It used to be the 40k 25 years ago. So many of the players, of the pro players and very famous players of 40k actually got started with Warhammer Fantasy Battle, the old iteration of the game, the old name before End Times, so Square Bases. And then things changed. Of course, 40k became super successful, and fantasy, grew a little bit smaller, and then Lord of the Rings also was acquired, so that also had an impact, and then the End Times came, he disappeared, Age of Sigmar came back. But this is to say that the underlying community, potential community of people that are in love and passionate about this game is just huge. Much bigger than we think, and possibly much bigger than player bases of most recent games. And again, there's no competition between the games because every game is different, but it tells us that if the community rises, if the community is united, if there's a game that is played, liked, and loved consistently across the board, well, that makes a real difference. But again, 10 years of silence. So what needs to be done is what? To aggregate these people back together. Let them discover the game, which is similar, but also very different from the game that we used to play back in 6th edition, 7th edition, even 8th edition, right? So it's a whole different game. It's the old world now. It has a lot of similarities, but a lot of differences. So it's kind of like, being born again. So I think I would love to hear from you. So put down the comments and let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think it is a good way to start building the community, because there are also, a lot of fantastic YouTube channels other than Sun Tzu Secrets. By the way, if you didn't, click that subscribe button down below, subscribe, put like, comments, check out our memberships. We are more than happy to have you in our ranks and join us. But other than my channel, there are some super successful channels that I love, and they're all talking about the old world, like the old world legends, old world fanatics, Square Based, Close Order. There are so many channels that are flourishing and popping out. That means that there's a potential to that, and there's certainly the need of creating events to have those people come out, check out the game, check out the hobby, and decide by themselves the way they want to participate to that hobby. Does that mean to participate to painting classes? Does that mean to participate to casual gaming sessions? Does that mean to start with like a slow grow, escalation leagues? Great. Does it mean to start like having more tournaments, competitive tournaments organized at a local level, RTTs like one day with 3 games, or even GTs, 2 days, 5 games or 6 games? Absolutely. So it's just a matter of finding the right recipe, and this is my opinion on it, is trying to unify the landscape. Because one of the problems that I'm seeing and I'm hearing about is this game is, of course, not fully supported by Games Workshop. What do I mean by that? It's absolutely 100% supported by the company, but it does lack, of course, the manpower that is on the main studios, like Warhammer 40k or Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So what does that mean in practical things? That there are less people working on the game, which means that the natural imbalances or mistakes or things that are off a little bit in terms of rules, in terms of point cost, in terms of power, in terms of balances, in terms of tactics, even like simple erratas or anything like it, takes a lot of time to get fixed if they are fixed to begin with. So this creates the need and the perception of the final consumers, which are the gamers and the players and the tournament organizers, to create fixes to that, patches. So whether it's comps, whether it's like rubrics, or like their own ways of ruling uncertainties, or like rules that are unclear, like oddballs, like all of that gets declinated in a very local way, and as a consequence, sometimes it's hard to have people agreeing together to that and creating, let's say, a basis that it's like a consensus for everybody, because the game that we may end up playing in the Midwest is a very much different game than the one that we play in the East Coast, or even in the West Coast, or like even in Canada. So everything is different because every tournament organizer is trying with the best intentions to create the best version of the game, in their opinions, that can actually deliver the best added value. And while this is like fantastic, sometimes doesn't help in creating homogeneous communities and an easy approach to the game. So I spent a lot of time at Adepticon talking with people from 40k in particular, to be like, I guess also your game is not perfect, so how are you guys dealing with it? And the answer was easy. It's like Games Workshop is dealing with it, because they release patches very quickly, they update points, like rules are constantly changing. It's like the entire focus is on them, and I am assuming a little bit on Age of Sigmar too. So as a consequence, the old world is kind of like the younger son, which gets attentions, but not as many attentions as the other big ones. So the one thing that I am super excited about is, what if there's a way to create a community, a real worldwide community that shares, of course, the love of the game, but also tries to share certain basics, like for example, when it comes to competitive play, like a shared portal of like tournaments. For example, think about the States. Either you have Best Coast pairings, which is also sometimes not the easiest app to work with, which is also like sometimes you have to pay for it, or it's extremely hard to understand what's going on where, because it lacks like a comprehensive platform that shows you everything that is going on for Warhammer the Old World in the country. From narrative events to competitive events, and so far so forth. So also for tournament organizers sometimes, and I found myself recently in this place, in this position, you want to organize a tournament, but you really don't know what's going on, maybe just 2 hours and a half driving away from where you want to do the tournament, maybe there's another one and you are not aware of that, because if you don't have the right apps, you'll never find it. So what about trying to create an entity, which is a platform, which can be a website, which can be a, let's say, as I said, an entity that is creating some basics shared with everybody, and within that framework everybody can actually find its flavor, like using the rules they prefer, creating their own rules or comps if they like, but sharing the same codes and the same language. So in all of this, there's a great project that I would love to talk to you about, which is called the Old World Federation. So you might have heard about it. It's basically a community developed project for Warhammer the Old World. It is basically using some of the basics coming from the old Tilean Federation, which is the federation that we have in Italy. So let me just walk you through and just like summarize what we said before. Right now, at a worldwide level, we have heterogeneous comps. There's an inconsistent event rule packs across events. I mean, in other words, everybody's doing, very different things. Varying interpretation of gaming rules, inconsistent ranking systems for who cares about rankings. Maybe not everybody, likes rankings. I'm a competitive player. I love rankings. I love playing casual, but I of course enjoy more, for the person I am, the competitive side of it. Reliance on commercial general purpose tools to run tournaments. Events and information are scattered across multiple sources, which is what we said before. So there's really it's basically like the land of nobody. So there's a lot of individualism, and there's not really the sense of like a one great community at a worldwide level, or at least at a regional level, that is really consistent. On the other hand, the idea that was developed in the Italian Federation was to create a unified nationwide format, coming mainly inspired from the match play guide that Games Workshop released last year. Like same event rules across all events, defined and shared interpretation of uncertain gaming rules, consistent and centralized ranking system for who cares again, full-fledged tailored tools for the old world, and events and informations are centralized in one single portal. What does that mean? It's like in any moment during the year you will be able to know what's going on. I want to make a tournament in June in Brooklyn. Okay, I'm just making it up. So then I check on the portal and I'll see that there are other 2 tournaments. Maybe there's one in Connecticut, there's one in New Jersey. And is that really the right week to do that? Because people will be, scattered across different events. So let's try to organize everything. So trying not to overlap, for example. And this is done in the sense of like creating, respecting, growing, nurturing, and taking care of local communities. And again, tournament doesn't mean that you have to show up to be ultra competitive. You can just show up the way you want, and tournaments can be toned down to the levels that everybody prefers. So once again, it's not a matter of making this game just competitive. It's a portal, it's a service, it's an opportunity for everybody to enjoy the game in a more homogeneous environment. So of course the federation that was done in Italy, that started basically right after the release of the old world, is sharing an info pack for all event tournaments, which gets updated monthly. There is one community FAQ document, which is rule as written driven mostly, social communities through WhatsApp or Discord to connect local players and the old world. support and coordination channel dedicated to the tournament organizer. So that means it's like one single channel where all tournament organizers are on, so they can share opinions, ideas, events. They can create mega events, where they all cooperate between them. Of course, there's the play platform, which means basically it's a tool to upload lists, create pairings, have leaderboards, rankings, everything. And of course, it's a free service, so that the website is accessible to everybody. There's no need to pay anything. It's completely free. So you just go there, you click, you sign up, just like you do with 1,000 of other websites daily. So you just go there and you're part of it immediately. And being part of a world federation means that you can basically play at any point in time in any country that is part of this community. They created basically a tiered tournament system. So there are online series, for example, all this is inspired from the ATP tennis rankings. So the online series are basically all those tournaments, and there are a ton that are done online through Warhol mainly, which is the platform which awards 250 points to the winner. Tilean series, they're called Tilean series, of course, Tilea, 500 for one-day events. Like RTTs, what we call RTTs in the States, like 3 games event in one day. Grand Prix, which are 1,000 points, which is usually 2 days. And there is a certain fixed amount of tournaments happening. And the finals. Finals like individual finals and team tournament finals, which creates a whole, little circuit for that. Here you have an example of the portal and how it looks like. So you have your own page with your name, with your club if you want, your latest achievements if you won, a silver, a gold, a bronze, if you won a painting contest or painting prizes during tournaments, what are your latest tournaments that you played, and all of that. Again, I'll put in the description the link to it. It's very simple. You just go there, you click, you choose like an email, you just register, you go there, you have fun, you check it out, you look at how the portal is. This is an example of the WhatsApp group. So a little bit of why is it working? Because again, in Italy, this portal has about 600 to 700 people that have signed up. And there are about 400 people out of those that made at least one tournament in the last 12 months. So we are talking about, for a country like Italy, big numbers. So when we think about bigger markets like UK, the States, or other countries in Europe, or just Australia, or just in general, the potential is infinite. So you may know Old World Rankings, which is doing an amazing job in tracking all the different tournaments. When you take a look at how many people are actually playing in the States, we have over 1,000 people that are already tracked between online tournaments and online and offline tournaments. So, and I suspect that this number is much, much bigger, can be 3 times, 4 times, 10 times bigger. So just think about. And the website and the platform is, of course, easily scalable. So there's no limit to it. So of course, the success factors are a complete, deep, and well-structured the old world event system. It's easy to use and intuitive. The portal is extremely simple, clean, has a very nice design, super welcoming environment. There is a strong support for tournament organizers. So the tournament management is extremely simple. So it's extremely simple to create an event and to receive support. Consistent, the old world experience across all regions, which doesn't mean that you have to use the same rules, but we'll see it after. So everything is perfectly customizable. So if you don't like that specific limitations, well, you can create your own and use the limited format for your region or sub-region, whatever. There's no problem with that. Wow effect, of course, for newcomers, because everyone who's just getting started with the game will see it as a fantastic and professional tool that will give the idea that they're part, which is not really an idea, it's more a reality, that they are part of something big. And minimal variable noticeable cost, like when you do tournaments, there are like official tournaments, there's just like €1 per player per tournament as a fee to use the portal and everything, which is extremely limited. So think about a tournament of like 60 or 70 people, we're just talking about $60, which is in the greater scheme of things, it's extremely small. So what's the project? What's the deal with this? Is start the model in 4 of the old world regions. Of course, Italy is already active, to drive the adoption of a unified worldwide system at a broader level, which in our idea would be France, would be United States, of course, United Kingdom or England. It depends like which countries will be joining immediately, and Belgium. These are countries or regions that already expressed interest in that, or where there's a clear potential for that. So the idea, again, is to create an old world federation, which is a joint union of regional old world communities united through a shared tournament system, common rules and rankings, and a global platform, which is going to be just a simpler way to unify the communities and also prep the ground for international events where everybody can participate, whether it's a WTC, whether it's like a worldwide final, whether it's an online circuit or an online tournament, which gets done on a platform, on a portal that is the same for everybody. You will get to know more people because you will be engaged in a much bigger community than we think. And back to the original part of my discussion is what can be better than having a tool that allows tournament organizers, players, hobbyists, and just in general old world aficionados and fans to be able to aggregate, whether it's online or creating a platform that shares a calendar so that you know when and where you can find folks that are really enjoying the same things that you love. And you may discover that the community around you is much bigger than you think. Because one of the things that I keep hearing from everybody is like, but it's like we need to build a community. There are not so many people. Maybe there are more people than we think there are. They basically just simply don't know that there is an active community and the game's back. So again, the Old World platform, which is already existing. So once again, it's oldworldfederation.com, which you will find the link below. It's already active. It's a derivative of the original Italian portal, which is now gone, and we have this new portal for basically everyone. Will be used by all players and tournament organizers. Of course, there's a section, as I said, of the Old World region. So basically every country or every region has its own platform, and within that they can create and customize rankings, comps, limitations, and everything. User experience, which is again, as we said, extremely appealing and extremely easy to use. And of course, there's a new tier tournament system, which is basically now on a worldwide level. So we have the regional tournaments, which are like dedicated to the single regions, which are the regional series, the 500. So all the tournaments we discussed about, like having one day with 3 games. Online World Series, which again is like having online tournaments, but again open to possibly everybody, which will be worth 250 points. Grand Prix of 1000, based off on the size of the country, the number of subregions, if there will be subregions, number of tournament organizers, attendance, and everything. So again, everything is extremely customizable and can be discussed at the regional level. And of course, the Old World finals can be local finals and can also be worldwide finals, like individuals in singles, online or offline, and team tournaments. Again, like I don't want to go too much in details here, but the one thing that is important is, again, the big question is, how are we going to play? because there's a Games Workshop format, which is what we call standard, which is basically usually 2,000 points, combined arms, and SGW wants no legacy. So no legacy factions, full Games Workshop match play guide, totally compliant. So it's kind of like, you know, in the event that tomorrow Games Workshop will start organizing tournaments in the region, there's a way to have it registered, because we're just going to pull from that with the standard format. The Apex, which is currently the most popular one, which is basically a 2,000 points with combined arms and grand melee, with legacy factions, of course, allowed, which is the norm, with certain degrees, because it can be a pure Apex with combined arms and grand melee, with additional limitations at times, or completely different formats. And the most important thing, the opportunity for every region to adopt their own regional limitations. It's like, okay, thank you, I don't like absolutely, I want legacy. I don't think grand melee and combined arms together, it's enough. I think we need more. I think I want to limit, like, the flyers, I want to limit the repetitions on core, I want to limit the number of wizards, I want to limit the number of flying monsters. Think about Adepticon, as we said. Andrew did an amazing job with his own limitations, which were also interesting. It added a little flavor to the process of listing. And we're going to host Andrew pretty soon to discuss about his experience with Adepticon Old World 2026. And again, every region or sub-region has its own free choice of limits. So, you know, if Nova Open wants to use a different way of limiting, fine, okay, you can have it. All of this in the spirit of having the most wide and customized experience possible in this platform. So. Again, back to the original topic of my show today is, let me know what you think of this. Let me know if you're a tournament organizer, if you would be interested in trying this out. If you would be a player, you would be interested in seeing what would be your needs. If you're just like new to the hobby and you don't know where to go, let us know in the comments and be like, I really would like to know how I can get more into this hobby. Is there a way to do that? Would narrative events or like slow grow leagues be the way to do that? But this is to say, and I wanted to share all of this with you because, as I'm saying a lot in right now, as of late, we are living a new golden age for the fantasy wargaming, especially the ones from Games Workshop. So the old world is back. Age of Sigmar apparently is still doing well. It's going to go through some changes probably as they head into the new edition next year. There are rumors of more factions to be released. Hopefully Legacy's army will not be Legacy anymore, and little by little they will start trickling back into the official game, let's say. Games Workshop itself said the scope of the game has changed. We are seeing more and more support. We had Cathay. We had amazing new kits like the Marauders, the Marauders Horseman. We are seeing like the new models from Cathay Wave 2. There is rumors for like very very soon to have new Knights and Warriors of Chaos, possibly new Brats, possibly new Tomb Kings, and all of that. Dark Elves possibly coming back to the old world. So we are living in a moment where this game is on the rise, and we want, as creators and as enthusiastic hobbyists and passionate about them. I play Old World since 2002, over 2 different continents in 3 different countries. We want you back. We want the community to grow. We want to see those clubs being filled with square bases and not only always round bases, which we love, but we love more square bases. So once again, you have all all of the contacts. So click subscribe, check out our page. We also have an email address, sunsusecrets@gmail.com. If you want to reach out directly to me, let us know. And I'm going to see you very soon. We are starting as Sun Tzu Secrets to organize events. We will start from the tri-state area, I think. We will possibly start with New York, and then we'll see maybe New Jersey, Connecticut. We have different options. Just reach out, put your comments, and keep those dice rolling. And I'll see you on the next chapter.